How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is a how to find the maximum profit for your animals here on Farming Simulator 25. And today we're going to focus on pigs. And I'm going to break this video down into two separate sections. The first one's going to focus on the individual pig. If I were to only pay attention to one single solitary pig, I didn't allow it to reproduce. I didn't allow it to do anything besides be by itself. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then focus on what if we were to take the biggest pen that we had available to us and then slam it full of the one pig and kind of grow it based on that one trial kind of thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on the from birth until the final profitable outcome that will ensue for that specific animal. In this case, it's going to be pigs. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be kind of going back and forth between photos of the kind of data sheet that I have created, as well as the kind of the variation between the two portions of the video. So right now we're going to focus on the single solitary pig. So before I get into all the various different things that I've found for this specific animal type, I wanted to kind of give a breakdown of what you're going to see here for the tables that I've created. So in the first table that you'll see a description of the month number, month, age, feed diff, value diff, total feed needed, total cost of feed, and value minus total costs. Now, what do each one of those columns represent? Month number is just the number at which you start looking into the actual data. So if I go into the game, very first month of August, that's going to be denoted with month number 1. If I'm then 5 months later, it's going to be January, month number 6. Month denotes the actual in-game month that is being represented. Age is the representation of the age for the animal. So when you first get into game and you purchase your animal for the very first time, they're going to be at age 0, always starting. Feed is going to be the total amount of feed that can fit into, so let me back up. Feed will start always with the total amount of feed that will fit into the pen or pasture that is being used in the description. So I specifically chose the largest available barns that were for the given animal at any given description. So for an example, our chicken barn can hold up to 9,000 liters and no more. Feed diff is the difference month to month of how much feed was consumed by the given animal. Value is the actual monetary number displayed for the animal that represents how much they are worth at that given time. Value diff is the difference between the value that they are worth and the initial payment that you gave in order to get that animal. So that payment includes not only the cost of the animal, but the cost of the delivery as well. Total feed is the total amount of feed that they have consumed up until that point in time. So if they are 5 months in, it's going to include the 5th month, the 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st months. So it's going to include all those as an aggregate into that final total. Total food needed is how many purchasables are you going to have to purchase in order to get to the total feed necessary. So in the case of something like roosters, if you're in the 5th month and they have eaten up to 20 liters of food, well, you only need 1 pallet to be able to cover that level of food consumption. So it's going to be represented by the number 1. Total food or total cost of feed is just the value at which you had to purchase said feed. And then value minus total cost is going to be how much is your total value minus the amount of cost it took to get the feed. And that's the kind of representation of the single animal table. And then there's going to be the full pen table. And that full pen table is going to be the same as the original single pen or a single animal table, but it's going to then be multiplied by the maximum amount of animals that can fit in the barn that is being represented in the video. So now that I've kind of laid that all out, I'll go back to the main video so you can see all the various breakdowns. So if we take a look, if we buy a pig at age 0, what we're going to need to do is to make sure that we buy pig food. Now, this is all going to assume that we purchase everything from the store, and we're going to kind of factor in the values based on that there. And this is all at base game, starting level kind of thing. We're not going to have any mods associated to this or anything like that. This is what if we had the kind of bare bones basic Farming Simulator 25 kind of information available to us. So if we were to take a look at the shop here and take a look specifically at the food, go down, down, down. There we go. Nope. There we go. Pig food for 1,000 liters is $1,000 per bag. It doesn't matter whether it's for this kind of boxed in bag or an actual big bag. We'll have $1,000 per 1,000 liters. Now, that $1,000 is part of the initial purchase, and it costs $230 per pig, and that is including the delivery fee. So you can whittle away that price by potentially having an animal trailer at your disposal, and the whole 9 yards there. So if you want to try and whittle down the prices, one, you can carve out the pig feed by producing all the various components in the making of the pig feed in order to save that money. But you also have to take into account all the various kind of inputs and outputs for that. It's one of those, it's going to save you tons and tons and tons of money, but that's why I wanted to show this video as kind of the what can you expect as a minimum to be able to get out of your pigs if you are putting the maximum amount of expense. There's going to be ways to cut around the edges and be able to make the profit even larger than what I'm going to show you here today. So again, focusing on the single animal, you have to buy the first 1,000 liter bag, and when you first purchase them, they're going to be a value initially of $40. So when they're a baby, you purchase them for $230. They are then valued at $40, which means that you are at a value of only, or a final profit of in the red of $190. So right off the bat, you are starting behind the 8 ball on this. The second month, they then go up in value to $200. They go from 40 to 200. So it's a big difference when they are able to feed and able to get their health up to 100%. In that second month, they're able to then eat 9 liters of pig feed. So that there is a drop in the bucket. For one animal, it is next to nothing that you need for pig feed. And going on, you'll then have a value difference of $30. So you're going to still be in the red on the second month by $30. Now, in the third month is when you actually start making a profit based on the initial investment of the animal, but you're still in the red when you factor in the pig feed that you put in there. So you don't actually start to break even when it comes to your first pig until they are 12 months old. In the 13th month of your actual gameplay, you will then be able to have a final value for your pig of $1,300. That leaves you a value difference from your initial investment for your pig of $1,070. They have eaten, up until that point, 551 liters of pig feed, which then gives you a final profit at 12 months, so 1 year in game, of $70. You've made $70 after 1 year. Now, here's the kicker. You move on to, if you're only focusing on the one pig, you move on to their age 19. So in the 20th month, that it should be the March of the following year, they're then worth $2,000 at that point gives you a value difference, a profit of $1,700 and $1,770. They have eaten up until that point 971 liters of pig feed, which means that you still are covered by the first purchase of pig feed at that point, which means you have now made a maximum profit of $770. That's after 20 months in game. That is when they are age 19, because they start at age 0. But you go into the 21st month of gameplay, they're now age 20 months. They now are actually back in the red. You've actually spent more money because you have to then buy a second bag of pig feed. You're now down $130 at that point. So if you're only focusing on the one animal, the one pig at this point, sell them by the age of 19 months because you're not having to then reinvest into another bag of pig feed. Now, when they reach their maximum value is at age 24 months. They'll reach a maximum value of $2,500. And at that point, with the investment of now 2 pig feed bags, you're at a final profit for that one animal of $270. And that's the maximum amount for that one animal that you'll be able to have before you actually are able to do anything with it. Now, that's kind of the high level of what it is for a single pig. But what if you take all those values and you kind of draw it out against the maximum capacity of this particular barn? Now, this barn is the large pig barn. It is found here under the animal menu. It is $164,000. Now, again, this is not accounting for the amount of money that you need to spend in order to have the pig barn. This isn't taking all that into account and all that. So it's one of those that's going to have to be factored in separately and whatnot. So to get to a level of profitability, it's only going to take you, with 280 pigs, 3 months. 3 months. Now, how is that possible? At the 3rd month, that single pig consumed 27 liters of pig feed, which means if you take that 27 liters and multiply it by the 280 pigs, that means that they will eat 7,560 liters. That means you need a total of 8 bags in order to cover that. So that 8 bags will then cost you $8,000. Your total profit at that point for the amount of animals in your pen is $19,600, which leaves you a net profit of $11,600. So that's when you first get to your maximum pay, or when you get to your first level of profitability, and it only goes up from there. So when do they become their most profitable? It's at the 24-month mark of age. It's the 25th month in game. So at that point, the single pig ate 1,271 liters. For an entire pig pen full of pigs, that means that they will eat 355,880 liters of pig feed. You will need 356 1,000-liter bags of pig feed to be able to cover this. That's a total of $356,000. Now, the total profit that you will make from your pigs is $635,600, leaving you a net profit of $279,600. That is a pretty penny right there. Now, again, that doesn't take into account the pig pen. That doesn't take into account any slurry or any byproducts that are getting made. It is only taking into account the raw value that the animal brings to the table. And in this case, that is a pretty good chunk of money right there because, I mean, one, it's $270,000. And if you're only focusing on doing the one animal and kind of slamming it full, again, you're starting with babies and you're letting them get up to 25 months. Now, word of warning, big time caution. You must take them out at the 24-month age. You must take them out, because if you let them get to 25 months, you go from a profit of $279,600 down to $262,600. That means that you lose over 17 grand, because you then have to account for buying more pig feed between each of those months. Because at that point, the pig ate 1,331 liters. Extrapolating that out would be 372,680 liters of pig feed for all 280 of your pigs. Means that you would have had to have purchased 373 bags for a cost of $373,000, and you're only making the $635,600. So yeah, you're spending more money to then get the same amount of final profit out of the pigs. So you're then losing that money and making up the difference. So it's one of those, make sure if you're slamming your pigs or your pens full, that they're being sold off by the 24 age month mark. And yeah, that is pretty much what I have found in my kind of diving into pigs here. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. Let's try that ending one more time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. The shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day. Take care.